VO13.
Alright, y'all, welcome back to Street Connects TV. Today we're here joined by our guest, VO13. What's the word, my boy? How you living?
How you doing, bro?
Doing
Chilling.
good. For sure.
Good.
Yes, sir. Glad to have you on the show, my boy.
Glad to be here. Limitless Dreams was good. You already know.
First question of the day is, where are you from?
I'm from Stamford, Connecticut. We in Brooklyn right now. Stamford, Connecticut's like 30 miles away, something like that. Just like 40 minutes away.
Or
It's like, it's not a big ass city, but it's definitely not the middle of nowhere, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's like a small city. Ain't far from stuff.
for sure. So it's relatively close to New York.
Yeah, it's in the area.
For sure. How was growing up in Stanford?
It was pretty cool. Like it wasn't like, I don't know. It wasn't all how people think of it when you tell them you from Connecticut. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't all that element was definitely there, but it was definitely like, it's not as people think Connecticut might be, but it's a lot of different people there. It's like really. In Stanford, it's like the top of it is the woods, and there's very big houses and like affluent neighborhoods, and then there's a large middle class section in the middle, and downtown, like town part, and at the end there's also like huge mansions and like on the water and stuff like that. So you get the mix of like, I don't know, very vastly different communities living right next to each other. It gives like, I don't know, it gives it like a
multicultural vibe. Like
a
it's
little,
a lot.
it gives it a little mix, a cool little mix. Sometimes a little tension, but not like anything crazy. But a lot of people, especially who are from there, like give it a worse rap than it deserves. Like it's not that bad of a place. People are like, oh, you gotta get out of here, like this shit. I mean, obviously you gotta get out anyway and go around and
Travel.
you know what I'm saying. But a lot of people are like, you can't do anything productive here. You can't make it here. Like, bro, just you can do whatever you want to do wherever you are, for real.
What made you want to make music?
I really loved music. I didn't know that I wanted to do anything. Rewind to like 2014, I was like addicted to my headphones. Always had my headphones in, and like I didn't picture it until like a specific moment. I was walking home from school. I remember it was like brick as fuck. I was listening to like Ray Shremmer or something. It's like, yeah, it's 2014. It's the end of 2014. And like some lyrics started popping in my head. So I wrote them down in the notes app. And then I was walking home from school, so when I made it home, I rewrote them shits in a notepad. And I was like, okay, this is cool. This is what I'll spend my time doing. I thought I was just like, you know, getting creative for fun and stuff. And by the time I finished that song, like a couple hours later, I don't know, it was crazy. Like I really had made my mind up right there. I was like, yeah, that's what I do now. This is what I'm gonna do now until I'm old and I'm ready to retire for real from everything. Like,
But you're ready to
it
dedicate
really
your life to
is.
this.
I really chose that in kind of one night. From then on, it was obviously different levels of, because that was when I was 11 years old. So there was different times where I shifted gears and boosted a level. But yeah, from the jump, I knew that I was gonna do one thing. I mean, not to say I'm gonna do one thing, but
That was gonna be your main
I knew
thing.
I was gonna be music. Music is the front of what I'm doing.
Who did you listen to growing up?
Growing up, the first artist that I listened to, like consciously, like I'm listening to this artist, I want to hear them, was Rihanna actually. And like 2007. The Good Girl Gone Bad. That album was all over the radio and stuff. So that's like the first artist like I was aware of. And then that's kind of where it started. Like, and then mind you, I'm like 5. So from then on, it was like find out about Lil Wayne, Eminem. From the house, my mom introduced me like Queen. My dad introduced me to Bob Marley, like Jimi Hendrix, Beatles, Rolling Stones type. But then I was bumping by middle school. It was like, well, there was like 2 Chainz, A$AP Rocky. This is like 2012. I was in like 3rd grade. Bumping like 2 Chainz, A$AP Rocky, Sosa. A little later on, like the Migos. Middle school, like Herb. Definitely. At this point that I'm at now, is I listen to like everything. I can't even keep track. I got like 8,000 songs on my phone.
Yeah, but it seems like you've always had like a diverse ear when it comes to music, because you're saying you started off with Rihanna, going into more rap, and then music like Green Day. Like, it sounds like you've always had a thing for just different sounds. So does that also play like a role in like how you developed your sound, growing as an artist?
I definitely always had an ear like for a lot of different shit. I think that comes from one, like soundtracks. Like I think I was just always into music before I knew, really.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I don't know, like I would hear music and I would really like feel something as a little ass kid. And like movie soundtracks, I think was like part of that, would just like catch my ear, and I'd be like, you can like paint, you know what I'm saying? You can match a feeling with sounds. And then like, I think a lot of that comes from stuff I was introduced to by like older generations, by my parents and by other people like that, and then stuff I found from my friends was just vastly different, you know what I'm saying? And a lot of the music, like the music that I found that was new when I was young, like my parents had like my family had really like wasn't into that. Like my brother is around my age, so he knew about that stuff. But like, because it was every day I had 2 very vastly different music tastes around me, so it could have been like that. But we grew up in the internet, and I found out how to use YouTube in like 1st grade. It was over. So that suggestions bar really
helped a lot with that.
Yeah, that
opened the gate. It opened it was like a key to opening a door, like endless music and endless things to experience on your own.
Exactly. That's why, it's really cool because people our age, people who grew up in that age, like that's one pro about it. Despite what you can say about the internet, that could be negative. There's a lot that could be said there, but like that's one pro about it, is like we live in a time where we really got like all the music
ever. Any sound ever created is recorded
all
on the
the
internet.
music that's ever been made, you can go find it. Like you can go look that shit up. It could have 1 play, it could have 1 billion, it could have 10 billion. Like you can tap in. It's there. So like, yeah, I think that's really cool.
Word. Now, would you say that like helped you develop and like evolve your sound? Or find it?
I think it played a big part because that aspect of like, first of all, different people showing me vastly different things, and like growing up and like following something that's totally different from what other people around me is listening to. I think along with that, just like the fact that I gravitated toward certain things, those certain genres that I gravitated to, like, I think carried how I can switch it up to, like, I listen to like a lot of different sounding hip hop, because there's so many subgenres and stuff, but like listen to a lot of classic rock, a lot of newer, like 2000s rock, a lot of pop. I mean, some reggae, some, like, I just listen to all over the place, a lot of soul music, funk and stuff. So I think just the fact that I ended up liking so much of it played a part in the fact that I could get on a different vibe. While recording hours apart from each other, I could make I've done that. I did that like last week. I made like a punk rock song, and then I went downstairs and I made like a hyper pop, like trap type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like in the same building and put it in the same 2 hours. So I think it's the fact that I really liked all them genres that much. Like I just found out that I love music. You know what I'm saying? So.
For sure. I know you played football in high school. How long were you playing that for?
I started in like 3rd grade. So I started playing like tackle football in 3rd grade, and I was fucking with it. So from 3rd grade through senior year of high school, despite COVID, I actually still got to play. Like that was crazy. They canceled our season right before it started.
Yeah.
And they ended up making like a new league for 1 year. Just
so y'all could play.
Just to play, and we ended up playing like half that season, and then they shut that down too because the numbers went over.
Yeah.
Like there was like you could play under this limit, and the numbers went over. But I did get like half a senior season into. I loved doing that. That was fun. At the beginning, pretty much up until I was 11, and I found out that I was a rapper now. I was like, yeah, I want to be in the NFL, but so was the rest of the 4th graders on my team. So,
yeah.
I don't really think that was like my thing, but I did have a lot of fun playing football. I love football. I played like Little League baseball too. We won the chip and shit, but like, football is the one that I love, like playing, like more than anything else. I watch a lot of sports. I like sports, but yeah, football was the one. When I was a kid, I was like, I love defense. I played O-line a lot. But I love playing on D-line, or like I ended up playing linebacker in high school and stuff.
Alright, so you was a linebacker in high school?
Yeah, for most of the time. I finished it as a D-end, but I was a linebacker for most of the time. I wasn't that tough. I wasn't that crazy. I wasn't terrible, but I got a few offers, but I didn't want to take them because at first I didn't think I want to go to school, and then found out about Rock Nation school, so I was like, yo, I'm gonna try this. Because this is dead.
It's actually what you want to do.
Music. It's like music industry school. It's not like Berkeley, like music. You'll learn some theory here, you learn some instruments here, but it's not like classical music school. It's industry school.
Yeah, industry ready school. Word. Before we start to talk more about Rock Nation, I do want to go back to the fact that you brought up like you were still able to play half of your senior season, because it's kind of crazy to me because being in New York, we absolutely had no chance of, like public school wise, there was no chance of you having any kind of season. So my senior season was cut short from football. But it's funny because all my coaches did leave my school to go to private school where they could play, and I think they ended up getting shut down too. But it's kind of funny, like the same sense, like, but you saying like your whole team came, like all the schools came up with like their own league in a sense.
Yeah, so it was around the county, and I think that had a big part to do with it because this is what I actually didn't say this about Stanford when you asked me, but Stanford is in one of the most like wealthy counties in the country. Like the towns that surround it and shit is like Tom Brady got a crib there, like the owner of the Mets got a crib there, like Taylor Swift goes on vacation here, like it's like really like trust fund kids, and like Greenwich, Connecticut, I worked there. It's a crazy place, you know what I'm saying? One of my day jobs was there. But like, yeah, it's surrounded by on all sides. Like high school sports parents is crazy. So I think we had the benefit of being next to some towns that had like pretty wealthy dads who wanted their kids to get another season in. like a lot of people put money toward it. People who are invested in the football programs over there and stuff put money into it because high school football, especially like down south and shit, that's like people put huge
that's their life
in
over
that
there.
stuff. But I mean, in Connecticut, yeah,
It's a level to that too.
there's some big towns that they just have donors and like ridiculous weight rooms, like college level equipment. We go to away games and be like shook, or they would come to us in the coach bus and be like different type of shook, you know, like
Word.
that shit was it was like a weird element, but it was kind of like eye opening, you know what I'm saying?
How was that growing up, seeing one side of wealth and like also seeing like people that come from less, you know, like just having such a mix, well, like not only in Stanford but the surrounding areas, like how it's pretty much been your whole life. You've been surrounded by like different levels of wealth and shit.
Yeah, it was kind of like it opened my eye to mainly it don't mean anything. Nothing money related means anything with how you are as a person. Like that's the main thing I really found out is like if you happen to have more money, it's like it might not be because you're harder working, you know, like it might not be because you're smarter, like, and having a lot of money don't make you like any cooler if you're not doing anything cool anyway, you know what I'm saying? You could be rich or poor, like you know what I'm saying? That's one big thing that taught me, but also like, you know, that shit bugs you when like you see people doing shit that you don't have the money to do, and then you see people who don't have the money to do shit and like you wish, you know what I'm saying? Like you wish everybody could eat, you know, you wish everybody could
live
at least live a sustainable life, you know? And it's crazy because those people gotta see that, you know what I'm saying? Those people gotta see that too. I never grew up in poverty, but you know what I'm saying, I saw that, and they had to see the wealthy kids that I saw that I was jealous of. You know what I'm saying? So it's weird.
For sure. Now to talk more about the Rock Nation program, how has your experience been like so far since being in a place where you live with like several different rappers and artists?
I really have been like recently, most of what I've been listening to is myself and the people who live in literally the same freaking building as me, which is pretty cool. But like, yeah, this shit is like really, you can connect the dots with it. Like this is, if you get a bunch of artists in the same building, like it's happened before. It doesn't always happen in a school, you know what I'm saying? We just happen to be in a school, but a lot of legendary artists have been like, let's get a compound, and we got a built-in compound here. It's pretty cool. Fucking dryers don't work, but
No, fucking dryers definitely don't work. LA, you gotta get y'all shit together.
Yeah, but I love it because everywhere is the studio, and nowhere costs money to go to the studio on campus, which is like, that's just
a rapper's dream.
The win in itself. And also, you know, hook that shit up in your room and you can stay up all fucking night. You know what I'm saying? Like, going back and forth, and you got a building full of people who can add different touches to your stuff, or you can tap into beats with all different type of producers. We got real emotion here, bro. And it's a location too. You can get to spots you want to get to. Like, I'm not trying to tell anyone you better go to school. This is a cool place to go to school if you're trying to do some music shit, but I am trying to tell people place to go for music shit. Just be in, like, pop out, be in Brooklyn. Like,
Brooklyn got
it. Place. New York in general is like one of probably the
biggest
best city
epicenters
in the
of
world.
music.
But definitely, like, Brooklyn is just crazy. Like, Brooklyn, even different from being in Manhattan, like the energy in Brooklyn is just different. Like, it's just really focused on creativity and like collectiveness. It's crazy. So a lot different from where I'm from, you know, a lot different from other places I've been. Where I'm from, it's like, musically wise, like there's a lot of people who fuck with each other's shit, but there's no like big formed like collectives actively working together, and you go here, it's collectives working together everywhere.
What's the meaning behind the name VO13?
Alright, so my first name is Yakovo. I went by Jake for like most of my childhood, and then once I had a rap name, then I was Vo. Now I'm kind of both, or like the Vo is from Yakovo, obviously the last two letters, the Vo at the end. That was basically, Yakovo is a Greek name, and it's spelled Iakovo. So basically, like, it really started off as like the teachers on the first day of school, they don't know how to read that. So they mess up every part of the name except for Vo. So because everybody know how to read Vo, everybody know how to say it, I took Vo because, I don't know, I liked it. The 13 has like kind of multiple meanings, as you can see. Like, that's really it's my logo. I got it all up in my room. I be saving little 13 stuffs. The main meaning to that is where I grew up in like apartment 13 of my like complex. So the main reason of that is just to keep that forever attached to the name. Like, is where it all started.
Okay, so it's an homage to your beginnings.
Yeah, and pretty much it's like there to never lose my head.
So that you remember where you came from. So that's also then that would be the meaning behind the jerseys behind you too. Just that. Yeah, that's with 13.
That's me. I'm 13. I'm vote 13. I just put 13s everywhere. Like I buy stuff if it has a 13 on it. Yeah. So like 13. I mean, it's also loosely connected to like my great grandmother was one of 13 children, and then one of those other 13 children was number 13 on the Brooklyn Dodgers. Actually, his name was Ralph Branco. But that's like there's just a bunch of different.
There's a bunch of different connections.
There's a bunch of different weird connections, and
that's what makes the number so much more significant, because this is ironically put into your life in different ways.
Yeah, I think it's like one of my mom's like spirit numbers or something. I don't even know, but like there's a bunch of weird like background things. It's mainly though for apartment 13, and then the one time we actually had black mold in our house, which is like crazy. We had to tear down the walls, a big hassle. We had to move out, and the only other place we really lived for a long amount of time was on the 13th floor in room 13. So it's really like everywhere I was 13 too. So it fits that way too. But yeah, it was just where I grew up at. It was apartment 13.
How would you describe your sound?
My sound? Diverse would be the first one, just because, it's kind of like the cheat card, like the wild card one. Definitely diverse, melodic usually, and I love 808s. So there's usually some 808s in something I'm making, but also I do some plug and B, and I do a lot of trap inspired stuff. But the further I go in my career, the harder that question is gonna get for me, because the more and more stuff, even already, like the more and more stuff in the works is like, damn, how do I fit this in with my full description? Like, this is some different shit. So yeah, that question is gonna keep getting harder as time goes by.
What was the process behind making Internet Rich?
Internet Rich was a beat from my homie Chronic, who I've known forever. We I think I knew him since like 4th grade. Like, we played on a football team together or something. But he started making beats in like high school, so we linked up, and he did. He's been making beats for me since then. He's still making beats for me. Shout out to Chronic. We actually have a whole collab tape with Chronic and my bro FG Della from Stanford. So I laid that down, and I don't remember when that was. Probably at some point in 2022, It did sit in the vault for a while. Got it polished up and let it fly. Because I mean, I love that song. Like, I don't know, that's just hard. I was really talking in that. Chronic had made that, sent it to me. I really just busted that shit out. I wrote like half of it, and then I booked a session at First Class Studios in my hometown, Stanford. I had a session with Mike, and I banged that shit out. And yeah, that shit was the parts that wasn't written came quick. That's how a lot of my songs happen. Where like I'll write some of it so I know that I'm not gonna pay the studio time and then draw a blank, because I try to never do that if I'm paying for time and stuff. So I go in with some basic structure and then freestyle in the blanks. Sometimes I'll have the whole thing ready and written, and then once I'm done, you know, the first one, sometimes the whole song will be freestyle. But that one was like the majority of songs, which is like kind of half and half.
Word. And would you say you can get a similar vibe off of No Sleep as well?
Yeah. No Sleep is a little like dreamier, you know what I'm saying? I spaced it out a little bit. I specifically like, for that one I did with my boy Too Wavy. And we had like a specific vision for like the mix and stuff like that, like had it a little bit like softer hitting, not that it don't like, not that the drums like aren't there and stuff, but like a little bit like more back and you know what I'm saying. Internet Rich is like definitely grittier. Like I try to get, and there's more grit everywhere, even in my voice and the drums and all that. But I'm trying to remember who produced No Sleep. Oh yeah, that was my boy Infable. He out in Russia actually, and he be working. He just be really networking on social media, like hitting up artists. And Infable, he hit me up. I got a lot of stuff going out with him, and I never really met him in person, but he made some cool shit. And I met through an artist I know from outside. He also has some songs. Shout out to Thank You North. I got some with him actually. Could be coming out in the future, but yeah. He said he knew about him. I was like, damn, that's Infable. He cool. Yeah. But Chronic been my day one. Like, that's really my guy.
Word. For anyone who hasn't tapped in with your music yet, what are the first 3 songs they should listen to?
My favorite song out that I've made is Don't Got Time. Don't Got Time for sure. That's like plug and beat, like spacey, definitely laid back. Got a sense of humor to it, melodic, smooth. I love it. Don't Got Time is the main one. Definitely Followers, and probably I'm gonna go with Talking, because I like the message of it. Like it's like good energy. It's like a daytime, beautiful day out in the summertime. It's like Followers. Got the video out for that too, and but by the time this is out, there's gonna be new stuff out. So I'm gonna say, get at that recent shit first. Get at the most recent shit, but definitely Don't Got Time that's my jam.
Who are some artists that you would want to work with in the future?
This is a tough question, because like I just want to work. I want to collaborate with as many cool people as possible, but I definitely want to check all the boxes off of people that I already know, who I haven't worked with. A lot of people who I go to school with and stuff, who I haven't got songs. So, you know, I'm trying to like, while we around, like while we can catch each other on each other's schedules before we both lit. You know what I'm saying? Like a bunch of people like that, but Lucky is just like, I don't know, like every beat. Young Boy, because Young Boy's like, since I found him, and literally like in 2017, like Young Boy, like been the shit, been consistently like, yeah, I'd love to make some shit with Young Boy. Herb at that too, like Herb can rap. I really can make some rap shit. Like, I don't know though, like I feel like I could just go on all day at this pace though. You know what I'm saying? Because like, man, I want to do a song with Dua Lipa. You know, like I I just want to. If I like your shit, like I probably want to work with you. To be honest.
Lastly, where do you see yourself in 5 years?
I see myself in 5 years like touring. Like I really do want to like go different places. Like I wouldn't be doing the same thing in all the places, but I want to go to the different places. I'm definitely gonna be touring. So where am I gonna see myself in 5 years? All over the place. But the actual question, because I know you didn't mean it literally, the actual question is comfortable and active and with motion, like from thing to thing, and making money moves, man. Like even though music is the mission, like making money moves and making my bread and putting on and still working with a lot of the people who I've been working with and I'm working with right now. And you know what I'm saying? I'm not gonna forget about home. That's stuck in my name forever. I'm 13. But I'm gonna be really wherever I guide myself, wherever I grab the wheel, fly the plane to, I'm gonna be there. Cause that's what I do. That's what I've done so far. Since I really picked this as what I was gonna do. Like everything I've done since then has been on the course. So yeah, where I see myself in 5 years is it's the mission.
And that's all the time we got for today, guys. Thank you again for tuning in to another Street Connects interview. Vo, it was a pleasure having you on the show, my boy, once again. Yes, sir. You already know the vibes. Big 13. For sure. All right, y'all. Appreciate y'all for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, do all that.
Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated. That's exactly how we're going to leave it off.